good news is your dates are here.
What's the bad news?
They're dead.
Oh, you're so cool, Brewster! Everybody's a suspect! Hey, Ted, where the hell's Larkspur? Don't fuck with the Chuck!
So sorry for the long overdue wait on a new review. Had a couple personal things come up last couple weekends, and I know our editor James, he's had a couple things come up as well. So everything's back, everything's kosher now. Podcasts are still dropping every Sunday. With this review, it's going to be back up every Friday. We're going to be talking about Halloween 2018 today, so let's dive right in. The movie starts off with Aaron and Dana, who are two true crime podcasters. They end up going to Smith's Grove, and they kind of want to study Michael and kind of see, in a sense, what the fuss is all about, you know what I mean? There we're greeted by Dr. Sartain, which is Loomis 2.0. Still deeply obsessed with Michael, just like Dr. Loomis was. But his big thing is he wants to see Michael in the wild, and he references that a couple times. This whole sequence is so fucking cool. Like, the opening of this movie is so strong. Michael, he's chained up outside to like this giant like block. Aaron goes up to him and he pulls out his mask from his bag, and we kind of get to see like how Michael is drawn to the mask, which we've never really kind of seen before. But like, Aaron's standing behind Michael, and you know, he's chained up. He pulls out the mask and he kind of like twitches, and you get to see how he's like literally drawn to the mask. And it's not necessarily like his power or anything, but we get to see some type of emotion come from Michael. And I like how they explored that route. It was subtle, nothing crazy, but it was subtle. The opening title card, the sequence, the score, everything about this movie from this point on kicks major ass. We got John Carpenter returning, his son Cody Carpenter, Ray Davies is in it. It's like a new modern, updated version of the original theme. To me, the theme songs for these movies, even though like some are really bad, they're all fucking still sick though.
Sick.
This one is super fucking upbeat, but then it goes to these podcasters. They end up going to track down Lori. They kind of bribe her with $3,000 to do like a little sit down interview. And here we kind of get to see how like of a survivalist Lori is. She's got a gun range. The whole house is like Home Alone. It's just booby trapped with everything. The podcasters kind of bring up sensitive material to Lori about how she's twice divorced. Her daughter got taken from her at age 12, pretty much a drunk. And that, you can tell it just kind of struck a chord with Lori, so she ends up booting him out. After that part, we get to meet Allison, who's the main final girl in this movie besides Lori. Her mom, Karen, who's played by Judy Greer, and her dad, Ray, who is, I think, played by Toby Huss. I really love like the dynamic between the family. Like, he's goofy and quirky, kind of like the comedic relief.
I got peanut butter on my penis.
It really kind of shows throughout this whole movie, like the comedy aspect, because it's written by Danny McBride. Which, to me, the comedy, it hits. I think it's blended at the right amount of time where it's still serious, but like a little bit of humor. Allison made like honor roll, and they're getting ready to do a like congratulations, like celebratory dinner for her. And she asks Karen about if grandmother's coming, which she always calls her grandmother in this movie. But hey, to each their own. But Karen always has an excuse as to why Lori won't show up. Allison and Karen's like dynamic in this one, even though I love the family, she's just always like put off because her mom always has an excuse. She always like dismisses everything about Lori. But she's on her way to school. We get to meet Vicky. We get to meet her boyfriend Dave. We get to meet Allison's boyfriend Cameron, his best friend Oscar, which Oscar, he's funny in this. Like, he's the best part of this movie, if you ask me. When they're walking to school, we get to find out that the brother-sister storyline doesn't exist. And to me, that's probably the biggest issue I have with the movie. I like that they're brother and sister. I've said it before, I like how he has the drive to try and find her and track her down and kill her. You take that away, this whole movie is about Lori getting in Michael's way. Yeah, he's out killing people, but like, she throws herself in front of him every single time to try to stop him. Which is good and bad, I see both sides, but like I said, I like the driving force as to why he wants to kill her, and he has to kill her. Lori shows up at Allison's school, and it recreates the original shot of Lori looking out and seeing Michael. When Allison looks out, she sees Lori, and she pretty much tells her, you know, here's that $3,000 that the podcasters like pretty much bribed her for the interview. But she gives Allison that $3,000 and tells her to go to Mexico and just kind of enjoy life. She goes like, fuck college, go live, like get away from this area. Allison pretty much tells Lori like, you need to get over Michael and live your life. Like your whole family's being pushed away because of this. And then, you know, we get this speech from Lori saying, you know,
if the way I raised your mother means that she hates me, but that she's prepared for the horrors of this world, then I can live with that.
I thought that was a good speech, but Allison does make a very valid point. Like, it's been 40 years. They're not brother and sister, so like, Michael doesn't even know who she is or really anything like that. Take Allison's advice and just go live your life. Be happy. Quit being in, like, living in fear and being the survivalist, because she's really like a Linda Hamilton, like Terminator style character. But we get to see Michael being transported to Glass Hill Sanitarium. We hear this, like the podcasters are off in their hotel room and they're listening to some like feedback from their notes and everything. And we get to hear this amazing Dr. Loomis speech, even though it's not Dr. Loomis, played by, I'm not gonna lie, I don't know who, but whoever the fuck it was, killed it, dude.
My suggestion is termination. Death. It's the only solution for Michael.
Yeah, we get to see Michael being transported, and we see Lori sitting like off in the distance in her car with a gun and like a little booze bottle. She just can't cope with the fact of, you know, Michael being transported. Lori ends up going to Allison's like congratulations like dinner party, and she kind of shows up, has a breakdown, but it's cool because she references the shape.
I saw it. The shape.
She ends up wandering off after causing a scene, and we get to find out like why Karen was taken away and like how Lori raised her to be like the survivalist. We end up seeing the bus crash, and it's a reference to the original, and from this point on, there's so many fucking homages in this movie, and it's so fucking good where it's not overdone. It's done tastefully and at the right time. So I appreciate the fuck out of that. I do hate the movies that are just homage after homage after homage, and it's just too much. Like, why is it a remake then? You know what I mean? Like, if you're just recreating every single thing. Yeah, we see the bus crash, all the mental patients like wandering around. My best guess is Dr. Sartain crashed the bus to kind of see how Michael would be out in the wild. And we get to see him kill people. He ends up killing some older gentleman and his son, who is pissed that he's missing dance class. But he's got the worst like smoker's voice ever.
I really love spending time with you, but right now dancing is my thing, you know, and it really hits me in the heart.
But yeah, we get to see Michael kill a kid. He like chokes him and snaps his neck, which I'm okay with it. I didn't really like the kid, but it's just kind of taboo to see Michael kill kids. The podcasters end up going to some gas station and they're fueling up, and Dana says she has to go take a dump, or quote unquote, I need to use the number 2 almost immediately.
I need to go to number 2 almost immediately.
But yeah, like Michael ends up killing people at the gas station, getting his outfit. He ends up killing the podcasters in the bathroom, which recreates, the tension I should say, recreates Halloween H2O, the bathroom scene. Michael kills the podcasters very fucking like violently. One of the sickest parts of this movie is Michael goes to the trunk and gets his mask. We get to see how he puts it on like through the rear window of the car, and it's so fucking sweet. And the mask in this movie is so awesome. Christopher Nelson killed it with the makeup for this movie, the mask, everything. It's kind of like Rob Zombie's Halloween, but it's, instead of having it cracked and just really torn apart, it's just weathered. And I like that aspect. It's got a couple scratches on it, but like the overall shape of the mask really like recreates the original mask, in my opinion. Yeah, he heads to Haddonfield because it's Halloween night. These kids bump into Michael and recreate the iconic sound. But during this scene, like Michael does like a 2.5, 3 minute one take, and it's fucking sick.
Sick.
He goes house to house killing people, like down the side of the house in the garage, picks up a hammer, goes in, kills some chick, picks up the knife, and he walks by this baby, and I thought for sure he was gonna kill the baby, but he doesn't. Thank God he doesn't. This whole one take was so fucking sweet, and it's probably the highlight of the movie. We see Allison and Cameron go to a dance, and they're dressed as Bonnie and Clyde, and this dance looks so fun. The turntable's like Frankenstein, and the Wolfman's like DJing and shit. Allison gets a call from Vicky, and she pretty much tells her to come over after the dance so they can smoke Alakazam.
Are you telling your friends to come over here and you're gonna smoke some weed?
The little kid that Vicky's babysitting, his name's Julian. He's clipping his toenails, and the kid's funny as fuck.
If I had some other kind of babysitter, she'd be reading me a story. I wouldn't be up clipping my nasty ass toenails.
When she goes back to the dance floor, she sees Cameron kissing some girl.
Oh, you motherfucker!
They get into a big fight. He throws her phone in some like fucking queso, and he just turns into this huge dick. But yeah, he ends up going to Julian's house where Vicky's babysitting. Ends up killing Vicky because she slips on her sock, which is fucking stupid. She ends up killing Dave, recreates the whole Bob, he stabs him to the wall. His best friend Oscar ends up taking Allison home, and he's cutting through Mr. and Mrs. Elrod's backyard, and he tries to kiss Allison. She's not about that, so she storms off. Oscar's really upset because
I got really horny at the party, and their beautiful bodies got me all chubbed out, Allison. They were feeding me guacamole in all these sexy ways.
But there's motion sensor lights in the backyard, and we truly get to see the stealth, everything about the shape, because he's maneuvering through these motion sensor lights without them coming on. But when they do come on, he's getting closer and closer, and it's just a beautiful scene of just tension, because obviously he's getting closer and Oscar's getting scared shitless. But the VHS rewind is Oscar's death. He's running towards the gate. He's yelling help and Allison. She comes around the corner and Oscar's climbing up the gate. He gets stabbed by Michael in the back, and it comes out the spike goes through his chin and out his fucking mouth. The piece of music that plays during the scene is so fucking, I'm getting goosebumps, dude. It's so good. Sheriff Hawkins shows up with Dr. Sartain, and they pick up Allison, and they're getting ready to take her back to Lori and Karen's. They find Michael Myers is wandering down the fucking street. They run him over, and this is one of the dumbest parts of the movie. Dr. Sartain stabs Sheriff Hawkins in the neck with a pen, with some fucking blade at the end of his pen. Dr. Sartain picks up Michael's masks and wears it, but it's 5 times too fucking big, puts him in the back of the police car with Allison, and he's driving away, and he pretty much just says maybe the only reason why he's still alive is because him and Lori need to go at it, pretty much. Anyway, Michael ends up killing Dr. Sartain that's the VHS, no, fuck it, that's 2 VHS rewinds. He stomps Dr. Sartain's head. The amount of brains, the blood, the skull crunching, everything was so fucking good. Then Allison ends up running through the woods. Another dumb fucking part of this movie. All these mannequins are just chilling in the woods where Lori's shooting range is, and the way it's shot, the camera angles, everything, it's supposed to create this crazy amount of tension, but she's just looking around and seeing mannequins, and she ends up having a breakdown, and it's so fucking dumb. Third act is insane right here. Michael ends up showing up to Lori's house. Those two go at it. There's a big game of cat and mouse. We see Lori recreating all the iconic shots of Michael in the original. Another super badass part of this movie is there's a trapdoor island in the kitchen. Karen and Allison are down there hiding, and Michael lifts it and breaks it. And we see Karen with the rifle, literally breaking down, saying, I can't do this, I can't do this. Michael steps right in front of the stairs, and she switches.
Gotcha.
And she shoots him right in the fucking cheek. And Lori comes out of the shadows and recreates the original shot. And those two go at it. She whoops his ass with a fucking frying pan, knocks him down the stairs. They pretty much trap him in the basement and turn all the gas on. And she throws a flare down and blows the whole fucking house up. It's getting ready to blow up, but the whole house is on fire. They end up getting picked up in the back of the truck, all 3 women, Karen, Allison, and Lori, and they're driving off, leading up to Halloween Kills. This movie, man, fucking love it. I saw it in theaters with my buddy Nick, and then I went home, and I'm pretty sure I picked up my brother, and I took him to go see it. It was that good. Kicks major ass. 5 out of 5 pumpkins. But yeah, this has been my quick little review for Halloween 2018, or Halloween 40, whatever you want to call it. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. But until then, see you later.